In this lecture, we are going to discuss first the consumer buyer behavior. And in this topic, I'm going to tell you two important issues. The concept and the affecting factors on this behavior, which are cultural factors, social factors, personal factors, and psychological factors. The second topic is types of buying decision behavior. And finally, third, the buyer decision process. Consumer buyer behavior. Consumer buyer behavior is the buying behavior of final consumers, which are individuals and households that buy goods and services for personal consumption. Note that all these consumers add up to the consumer market, which consists of all the households and individuals that buy or acquire goods and services for personal consumption. Also, consumers make buying decisions every day, but it can be difficult to determine why they make certain decisions. Also, consumer purchases are influenced by different characteristics. Let us begin with cultural factors. Cultural factors have an influence on consumer behavior. Also, culture is the set of basic values, perceptions, wants, and behaviors learned by a member of a society from a family and other important institutions. Also, a subculture is a group of people with shared value systems based on common life experiences and situations. They are distinct but not necessarily mutually exclusive. Also, there are what's called social classes, which are relatively permanent and ordered divisions in a society whose members share similar values, interests, and behaviors. Another influence is social factors. Groups are two or more people who interact to accomplish individual or mutual goals. Many small groups influence a person's behavior. Also, membership groups are groups in which a person belongs, while reference groups serve as direct points of comparison. Word of mouth influence of friends and other consumers can have a strong influence on buying behavior. Note that an opinion leader is a person within a reference group who, because of skills, knowledge, personality, or other characteristics, exert social influence on others. Marketers try to identify the opinion leader and aim their marketing efforts towards this person. Buzz marketing involves creating opinion leaders to serve as brand ambassadors. There is also online social networks and online communities such as blogs, social networking sites, or even virtual worlds where people socialize or exchange information and opinions. Family can have a strong influence on buying behavior as well. Buying role patterns in families change with evolving consumer lifestyles. A person belongs to many groups besides the family. also clubs, organizations, and online communities. The position of a person in a group is defined in terms of role and status. A role consists of the expected actions of a person. People usually choose products appropriate to their role and status. Personal factors. Personal characteristics also have an influence on consumer buyer behavior. These characteristics can be the person's age and life cycle stage, the person's occupation and economic situation, but also lifestyle and personality. Lifestyle is a person's pattern of living as expressed in his or her activities, interests also, and opinions. Personality is the unique psychological characteristics that distinguish a person or group. It can be said that brands also have personalities. A brand personality is the mix of human traits that may be used to describe the brand. Note that there are 5 general brand personality traits, which are sincerity, excitement, competence, sophistication, and ruggedness. Buying behavior is influenced by 4 major psychological factors: motivation, perception, learning, and beliefs and attitudes. Motive, or simply drive, is a need that is sufficiently pressing to direct the person to seek satisfaction of the need. Motivation research refers to qualitative research designed to find consumers' hidden motivations. Maslow's hierarchy of needs categorizes needs into a pyramid consisting of psychological needs, safety needs, social needs, esteem needs, and self-actualization needs. Perception is the process by which people select, organize, and interpret information to form a meaningful picture of the world. People form different perceptions of the same stimulus because of 3 perceptual processes: selective attention, selective distortion, and selective retention. Learning describes change in an individual's behavior arising from experience. A drive is a strong stimulus that calls for action, while cues are minor stimuli that determine how a person responds. A belief is a descriptive thought that a person holds about something. An attitude is a person's consistently favorable or unfavorable evaluations, feelings, and tendencies toward an object or idea. Attitudes can be difficult to change because they are usually part of bigger pattern. Now I'm going to discuss types of buying decision behavior. There are different types of buying decision behavior. First, complex buying behavior is characterized by high consumer involvement in a purchase and significant perceived differences among brands. The buyer will pass through a learning process, developing beliefs and attitudes, and then a purchase choice will follow. Second, dissonance-reducing buying behavior is consumer buying behavior characterized by high involvement but few perceived differences among brands. Habitual buying behavior is consumer buying behavior characterized by low consumer involvement and few significantly perceived differences. Repetition of advertisements can create brand familiarity, but not conviction, which can lead to habitual purchases. Finally, variety-seeking buying behavior. Is consumer buying behavior characterized by low consumer involvement but significant perceived brand differences? Now, the buyer decision process. The buyer decision process has 5 stages. First, need recognition is the first stage, in which the consumer recognizes a problem or need. Second, information search is the stage in which the consumer is aroused to search for more information. Also, the consumer may simply have heightened attention or may go into active information search. Information can be obtained from personal sources, commercial sources, public sources, and experiential sources. Third, evaluation of alternatives. Alternative evaluation is the process in which the consumer uses information to evaluate alternative brands in the choice set. Fourth, purchase decision is the buyer's decision about which brand to purchase. Both the attitude of others and unexpected situational factors can influence the ultimate decision. Fifth, post-purchase behavior is the stage of the buyer decision process in which consumers take further action after purchase based on their satisfaction or dissatisfaction with a purchase, of course. Cognitive dissonance is buyer discomfort caused by post-purchase conflict. Note that the buyer decision process can be different for new products. A new product is a good, service, or idea that is perceived by some potential customers as new. The consumer must decide to adopt them or not. The adoption process is the mental process through which an individual passes from first hearing about an innovation to final adoption. Note that also there are 5 stages in the adoption process, which are awareness, interest, evaluation, trial, and adoption.